But the philosophical reasons behind that I think are characteristics of a successful collector, there's probably 3 or 4. I have never met one, a Kentucky one anyway, that didn't love the state. Now you might say that's common to all states, but Kentuckians have a great feeling of place. I think they love the state and they have pride in the state. And if they do that, they want to learn something about it. I think that if you want to know about it and you have pride in it, you'll want to preserve it. I have met very few really good Kentucky collectors that weren't interested in preserving our culture. The most valuable lessons that one could take, I think, is that to spend a lot of energy in acquiring knowledge. And we learned that very early in looking at pieces in Pennsylvania and a dealer that we mentioned there. His philosophy was maybe 5% of the dealers knew what they were doing. And I kind of think he's right. But that 5% are wonderful, don't misunderstand me. But you needed to know more about their object than they did. I think that maybe just like the key to anything, the key to education and looking is the key to making good purchases. I'm also interested in provenance. Maybe more interested in provenance than most collectors that I met. That's not good or that's not bad, but if something has been in a family for 6 or 7 generations and is passed down through that family, more than likely, it's certainly easier to identify it as being a piece of Kentucky material. When I look at an object, I've learned to do this over the years, I look at it without saying very much. If someone is trying to sell it to me, I ask quite a few questions, but I don't give an answer to those questions. If I'm looking at an object, the first thing I look at, I think, is it good looking now, or will it be good looking when it's properly restored? And that may be from furniture. It can be a piece of silver. Will it be, if you polish a piece of silver, it generally looks like the day it was made. Or a piece of art, if you have to clean it, it looks so much better. But furniture is different. If I don't think, with proper restoration, it will be a good-looking piece, then I'm not interested. But the real mistakes that we made, and there are quite a few of those, is not buying something when we had a chance to buy it. You very seldom get 2 opportunities. I can only think of 2 or 3 times in 40 years we've had 2 opportunities. And lastly, a characteristic of a successful collector that I could see is price. Most of us, or most of the ones that I know, think that you paid too much for an item. It's the time you bought it. It's just inherent. Norma always thought I paid too much for an item, and I did too. I can't recall a single purchase that we have made that 5 years later we have not been ecstatic that we bought it, because it is good and the price appreciation has been tremendous, and no one else has it. That's very important to a collector. You have it, no one else has. Those things make a successful collector, and we might not know that. We might not know our love for the state or our desire to preserve, but we do it as a part of our normal being.